All right, so Saudi Arabia, the country that's helping fund ISIS, well, they have this new hardcore immigration policy aimed at preserving Saudi Arabia's Semitic homogeneity. And I get it. I want that for Europe too. I get it. I'm not attacking that, but I am attacking the fact that Saudi Arabia doesn't allow asylum seekers in their country, their own Muslim brothers or refugee status. They make them return home, or they tell them to go to Europe and go invade European countries. So let's just look at some of these points that have come out in an attempt to discourage marriage to foreigners. Foreigners are, let's say, rarely given citizenship. So Saudi nationals need to fulfill 17 points before they're apt to take a foreign spouse will even be considered. And even then, it's a big maybe. So there's age restrictions. A Saudi man has to be between 40 and 65 years old. A non-Saudi plus Saudi woman has to be between 30 and 55 years old. They have to have income, housing, of course, speak Arabic. The Saudi man has to prove his Saudi wife can't fulfill her duties or that she's infertile or why he isn't able to get a Saudi wife. Yeah, and they have to go through the Ministry of Health. And a non-Saudi man cannot take a Saudi wife if he's already married or if he had married a Saudi woman. Right?
Right.
And he must take an infectious or genetic diseases test. And a non-Saudi man must not have been a member of the military in a foreign country or a country banned from entry. I think there's like 5 of them. And then they have to sign a document saying their kids won't necessarily become Saudis. They won't have citizenship.
Interesting. Yeah.
And also when looking in terms of foreigners coming in, it can't compromise their cultural values, their demographics, their standard of living. They can't be non-Muslims. It's just, they have no such thing as anchor babies at all.
Right.
I mean, even if someone is half Saudi, they still go through a decision process to see if they want to have them in. Also, people always brag and say, yeah, well, they have, a third of the people working there are foreigners because they have them doing all the grunt work. Actually, a lot of white people in the medical field and building and all kinds of people there. But there's a 6-year cap on foreign workers to protect citizens.
Right.
I mean, and these foreigners are there. They don't get citizenship even if they marry a Saudi.
I wonder if they even would they get any benefits, any health care? Would they get anything like that?
They have to pay because as a citizen, I guess there's a lot of perks to being a Saudi Arabian, right? They get a lot of free stuff because they have money.
Yeah, because they're not stupid. We are stupid.
Yeah.
They're just logically going about this thing.
And they have mass deportations happen regularly. A lot of people from Asia, India, Middle East, African countries. And apparently they put them in these detention centers with just like horrid conditions.
Concentration camps?
I mean, they're even their own Muslims. They don't take them. And yeah, like I said, no asylum seekers in the country. You can't even apply for refugee statuses. So when people come, they just, we don't have laws for that. That's what we need in Europe, right? I mean, we need hardcore immigration laws like this.
I look at what the country is turning into as well. I mean, it's like with oil money, it's built into one of the, beyond a Western first world country, some areas of it, Yeah. It was Trump that talked about that. Like some of these Arab states, they have like amazing infrastructure in certain areas and, but they're not for equality or, anything like that, though. There's like, they're super tribal. So whatever family managed to get, acquire the most, instead of like sharing it or something, they would have like gold-plated toilets and bathrooms before they would do anything with it.
Well, and here's the thing. Sure, I don't care. You have your immigration policy, but they never speak up for European countries being invaded. In fact, it seems like they encourage them, them to come to our countries.
As I said,
and
based on the reaction. Remember, after the migration crisis, screw you, we're not going to let any of them in, but however, when they do come to Europe, we'll pay for about 200 mosques all over Europe.
Well, and they're funding ISIS, we know that. And then Hillary's a huge supporter. Her foundation took $25 million from Saudi Arabia. And as we know, Trump called it. It's true. They hang gays, they stone women, they do all this horrible stuff. They have a hardcore racial immigration policy, makes it impossible for foreigners to get in there. But no problem.
No.
They're fine.
Yeah, they are fine. Yeah, Hillary has always been very cuddly with Saudi Arabia. They're actually one of the bigger donors to the Clinton Foundation as well. Tremendous amount of money that they're pouring into. I mean, obviously, Israel, a lot of other Middle Eastern countries is doing that as well. But there is a specific cozy relationship between the Clinton Foundations, the Clintons overall, and the Bushes too. There's this interesting footage of like them seeing walking holding hands and stuff like that. Remember that Bush and the who would who was the king at the time. I forget what his name was. There's a new one now that came in 2015. But I mean, you're absolutely right about the murders and stuff. I mean, check this out. This is kind of gruesome. So if you're, a family is watching, or if they're younger people watching or anything like that, definitely turn away right now if you're sensitive to this. But here's some image of public hangings.
And why do they
Saudi
have to
Arabia.
do this?
And who is it exactly? What are these? Probably criminals. They're probably rapists or something.
I saw
right?
they were thieves, and there was some other problem that happened. But this is the only way that these people in these countries learn. This is the Islamic culture, if you will. So then, I mean, this is what happens to them in their countries when they do bad, naughty things. Here's a woman who's about to get beheaded now. Who knows what she did? I know women get killed for stupid things there.
Yeah, and you raise a good point. I'm not going to show all this, obviously, but you can show the lead up to it here. The reason, I mean, this is an interesting discussion. I mean, talking about Assad, talking about some of these Middle Eastern countries, what they have developed into, why they have a system that they do, why they have a very strong Sharia. I mean, here they are holding her down here, and they're getting ready to
cut
her head off. Yeah. And then afterwards, again, I'm not going to show it, but afterwards, you got the cleanup crew coming in. It's like nothing.
Yeah,
it's just like it's been an accident. There's like, oh, cleanup. So there's many dictators in these countries that have obviously arisen for a reason, because look at what happens when their culture comes into Western culture, right? This is what we began the program with. It completely derails, and it looks like their awareness of the situation is, oh, we can do whatever we want here. This is like Disneyland on steroids, and I can just turn it into a big, rape party or something, So the reason why this structure of society has arisen is because they felt it was necessary to be able to maintain the kind of population that they're working with.
Order,
the culture.
Law and order.
Yeah.
This is the only way with these guys. These guys, they do whatever they want, these Arabs. they're pushy, they're loud, they're aggressive. So they need dictators to keep them in line. The only thing that they respond to, clearly, if you look at their cultures, is violence. That's what they respond to.
And physical threat of physical punishment,
Yeah.
Putting them in a Norwegian prison, which is like a fucking hotel to these people, like a 5-star hotel. I mean, that's not going to solve it either, you know? And they're talking about in these Norwegian hotels, prisons, of like how we must be nice to them. Kind of like the police officer in the beginning said about Sweden, we have to just give them the right information and be nice to them and show them respect, And I don't think that's true. I think that there's such a difference in the culture that this is going to lead to an immense clash. So when our Western leaders come into like Syria and thinks, oh, Assad is horrible, we need to topple him, and then they get him out of there, immediately the power vacuum has opened up and you get a far worse person in there. I mean, Assad is like awesome compared to what is starting to happen in Syria right now.
And I even heard Assad the other day talking about diversity, how he welcomes diversity, and they're still attacking him. Sure, he's had to do some bad things here and there, but he's had to because he's dealing with terrorists and tribal war and just some insane things there.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
It's his way of having to keep order there.
Yeah, I know.
And there's a lot of lies about things that he's done too, of course.
Yeah. Here's like the cleanup crew comes in after the beheading. Look at this. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And these are the people that Hillary is doing business with. These are her cozy partners. They're treating women like trash.
Well, they probably hate Hillary behind closed doors. Like they don't want to.
They probably do. They probably do. It's just, I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
But no one ever attacks them for their immigration policy. That's the point here. Ever.
Exactly.
They can have, all these non-white countries can have hardcore racial immigration policies.
Yeah.
No problem.
That's absolutely right. Well, let's, these are hobbies, right? So there's some questions about whether the family echoes or not, whether they're tribal. It's kind of interesting. But so I guess it's appropriate to put the Wahhabis right where they belong.